You guys want to know how to iron cross. This video is going to be targeted towards adults that want to learn it, and it starts with understanding the technique. What your shoulders want to do when you cross is they want to be pushed down away from your ears. Second thing, we want to have straight arms. So you really should be somewhat familiar with a straight arm position, but if iron cross is the gateway movement into gymnastic strength, this is going to be a new thing for you. It involves having the elbow locked straight, and because that's not a natural position for us, when we start to load that position, we're instinctively going to want to bend the arms. Any degree of bend is going to be a non-attempt. The last thing that we're looking for is a hollow body position. There is a term called a posterior pelvic tilt, and that is tilting the pelvis underneath. We do that by squeezing the abs, squeezing the butt, tuck the hips under. Every single movement we're going through that is specific to the iron cross needs to have those three things intact, but there is one that relies a little bit more on lat and almost a front lever-like strength when they perform the skill. The other style involves putting the rings a little bit more in front, hollowing, and feeling a little bit more work through the lat. The difference between relatively upright position, holding your cross, to putting a little bit more into your lats, it feels a little bit more protracted in the shoulders and a little bit more rounded in the chest. Now that we understand the technique, what is the best way to introduce the iron cross into your training? We start with bands. Ignore that they're not even. Actually, the rings aren't even the same thickness. Doesn't matter. Get them into our iron cross position. They can be a little bit above, and we're going to practice doing cross presses. So remember, shoulders pushed down, elbows locked straight, hollow body position, and pulling the rings down to a support. Controlling the rings back up. Again, they can go a little bit higher than cross, and pulling back down again. When I'm doing this, notice that my shoulders aren't lifting up. When I pull them, when I raise the rings up, my shoulders don't go with it. They're trying to strictly stay down, and my elbows are not bending as I'm trying to pull the rings into my side. So as long as those two things are intact, this is a very valuable movement with very little load to practice what the position feels like under some external resistance. Once we understand that, we're putting all these things together, technical and load, we want to start to feel where we are at with full body weight. And spoiler, it's not going to be far. It all is going to start from a support position and seeing how far you can lower without breaking your technique. If I was to continue to go down, I would either fall through, feel a lot of unwanted stress or pressure in the tendons, ligaments, or break technique. These support positions or mini crosses are ones that you could more lean towards doing as an isometric movement and holding. Ultimately, that is our goal, to do this iron cross position as a hold. This will give you your gauge of where you're at. The further the rings get away from the body, the more we're going to be putting stress on the biceps tendon, and this tendon takes time. Iron cross is not just about the muscles, it is about the tendons and ligaments that are overly stressed in this disadvantaged position, and that's why we need to give it the time to condition itself and adapt to these movements. That is our skill component of training iron cross. We have our bands that we can use to help, and we have a way to start with full body weight and progress from there. Within your training, how I would do this is I would either do both. I would do the banded presses and the holds within the same session, but just keep it as a bit of a mix. Or I would do one session where I'm doing all the banded cross presses, and then another session where I'm doing the skill specific isometric holds. It would be the skill stuff first, and then we would move into the strength. What is the strength, you ask? Over here. So because the iron cross is very demanding, we don't want the strength exercise to be as demanding on tendons, ligaments, and the nervous system for performing skills. There's two attacks we can do on it. One, shut up, Tyson, I still want to do skill work. And you can do what's called a Bulgarian dip. This one I really do enjoy, but if your iron cross training is starting to stress the upper biceps tendon here, and this definitely can happen, a Bulgarian dip is going to exacerbate that. This is a movement that is advanced, but if you can perform it the correct way, you'll get a lot out of it in terms of building specific strength towards your iron cross. So we start at the top of the rings and we lower down, and notice how I'm now pronating the rings. I'm internally rotating in my shoulder and I'm getting to a 90-degree angle. I'm trying to replicate the same position I would be in a cross and loading a lot more through the chest. It might seem like it's a lot of biceps, the iron cross, but the chest takes a lot. And this is a way that we can get a little bit more work in on the chest, even if our iron cross work fatigued the biceps tendon down there. So this I would only keep to say 5 repetitions for several sets. It's not something I would do higher volume in relation to the iron cross, but you need to be able to have the shoulder mobility to perform this one. And you need to be aware that this still is stressing the upper biceps tendon, which takes a lot of stress in the skill specific work. This is just an option that could be good for you more down the track. What I would opt for in terms of general strength would be your dips. These can be either on the rings or they can be dips that are performed on P-bars, because again, this is just trying to build more relative pushing strength for the chest, for the shoulders, and that is a great way to do it after your iron cross work. All right, we've done strength. Now we're going to go over and do accessories. We had our skill specific work. Now we did some strength, and now we're finishing with some accessories. But what accessories would we finish on for an iron cross? Biceps. Do I even need to do a demo of this, guys? We're gonna do bicep curls with a 10 and a 9. Good one. With your bicep curls, this is where I would do higher repetitions, thinking more of the 10 to 20 repetition range for 2 to 3 sets. And this is just getting some extra work in for the biceps as a muscle without too much load and stress on the biceps tendon. With a lot of these skills, you're going to fatigue or get to the end of allowance of what your tendons and ligaments can offer, but your muscles are still going to be able to do more. It's going to pay off investing in a little bit more biceps work at the end of the session to help with your iron cross into the future. One more that you can do, but I would actually front load this. I'll put this at the start of the workout. 2.5 and a 3. Keep the theme going. These are straight arm presses. So I lay down in a dish. Why not do the dish just to replicate what you're going to do in the iron cross? You're going to hold on to these light dumbbells by your side. See how my elbows are locked straight, my shoulders are depressed. I'm pressing the weight up above my hips and lowering back down to my side. So there's a little bit pressing in, but the movement isn't a horizontal move. I am trying to press up and go above the hips, and you can do this 10 repetitions for 2 sets, 3 sets as a warm up for your straight arm work, which is going to be in the iron cross. We have the skill first, and that's where you want to put in a decent amount of work. But if the iron cross is a new skill for you, you actually want to hold back on the RPE. You shouldn't be doing iron cross yet at like a 10 out of 10 effort. You should more be focused on perfect technique, some degree of load, but you can get through your sets. That is going to be the best way to arm yourself for cross. It's not just going balls to wall as soon as you start, just because you're a strong guy. After you've done that skill specific stuff, like a 6 or 7 out of 10, you then move to your strength. And your strength you would do, this is talking Bulgarian dips or weighted dips, 3 to 5 sets with that lower repetition range of 3 to 5 reps. Once you've done that, you then move on to the accessories, which is 2 to 3 sets. These are higher rep range, which is actually looking to take the biceps closer to failure, and we can allow for that. This is the end of the workout. And then lastly, just the conditioning side of the straight arm presses I just showed you guys. Do that at the start of a session, but do not push that to failure. That is more just to warm up your straight arm position and get a few more reps in that straight arm position. Biceps tendonitis is a real thing when you're talking iron crosses, back levers, supinated planches, German hangs. It can creep up on you, and then it can be a big problem, at the very least an annoying problem to have to deal with. So we're just trying to do that light work and get the conditioning in. I do have a video on dips, which I've just put out recently, so check that out if you're interested in pursuing dips as a strength skill. And in addition, I've got some programs available on the website that do address cross, but in general are just great calisthenics and weightlifting combined programs.